Is this making any sense, Esther?
Oh, actually, it's making more sense this time than it did last time, so.
I'm calling this Opus 17.
Okay, well, yeah, because I went through this at that time at Aaron's, so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, now this is making more sense.
Well, you know, there is the great Chesterton novel or whatever, or the short story or something called The Man Who Was Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some connection here.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember the title.
Started reading that one.
Bledsoe says it's the greatest novel of the 20th century or something.
Blurry, and
Yeah,
it
he
doesn't
really
make you
likes
take
it.
a flash because it would just reflect everything. You know,
I
Well-
recall
Here,
it,
there's
they were
no lights
wandering
on.
around in confusion, but finally they realized that.
Actually, go put it on the kitchen
God
table,
is in-
the dining room table.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Sarah. Now we'll just do a few examples of questions.
Okay,
Now
yeah.
the first week is from law to lyric, or from the testament of the ox to the testament of the king, or the testament of the lion, or from imperative to subjective, or from being called to being cleansed. You see, it's all liturgical. It's all covenantal. So we would have someone. Let's just take an example of. Let's take Joseph. He's a nice guy, and you have to ask. See, what you do is you create a whole universe of initiation, and then you will be receiving a whole universe from the other people. So we're learning to be a universe conductors, you see. So, in other words, Hannah will receive initiations from each of the other 7 people. Oh, and I used to have on the third week you ask yourself a question, because that's very similar to communion. I should remember that. I really appreciate, Doug, that you're doing this, because you can't remember all this stuff.
Right.
Okay, so let's just take an example. Given the qualities of Hannah, let's say,
Okay.
then you ask well, I call it asking a question, but it's an initiation. There are 3 reasons why you do it. You can help yourself with your solo, you can help the other person with their solo, or you can help the whole group. Because what you're doing, Esther, is you're writing a solo, too.
Okay.
And the first week, at the end of it, you have a 10-word solo, in homage to the 10 words. Then the second week, you add 70 more words, as in the 70 nations, let's say. And the third week, you add 153 words, as in the 153 fish. Then the fourth week, you have a total symbolic number, which could be 430 years in slavery in Egypt, or 480 years that it took them to build the temple after they got into the land, or 490 years of not giving the land its Sabbaths, etc. And then Elder Rorta is summing up everything. And what I'm saying too, since we're on tape and all that, a real advantage of this is pastoral, because a lot of times people aren't going to say a lot of stuff in public, but if you're sensitive to what they're saying and stuff, you can do all kinds of interesting help outside of the symphony.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we could find out that Hannah really has some tremendous stuff, but she just needs to get it out to people more. How could we help that, you see?
So,
I'm sorry.
and so just for clarification, the solo is a written solo, and
Written, spoken, yeah.
yeah, okay, and it's in the context of the symphony.
Uh-huh.
It corresponds to a singing.
Like an aria
Yeah, okay.
or something. I do a lot of analogizing here, and some of it could be really off base, but
Maybe it's more like a recitation in
It could
an
be.
oratorio.
yeah.
Yeah, well, there's different, and
could be.
the solos are different as they go along.
When we did Opus 3, we determined it was a concerto.
Oh.
Chuck did all the talking.
Yeah.
Okay. But,
Okay, so we were working on possible questions for Hannah.
yeah, let's look. And so you say, well, what does Joseph's stuff have to do with Hannah's stuff? from an imperative point of view. And Joseph would say, well, let's say Joseph would say, I'm confused. You have to help me with your music. Teach me some consoling music for a guy in the wilderness. You see, that would be an imperative. It would kind of fit. And
Okay, and remind me again, we go from imperative to what, to what, to what?
imperative to subjective to narrative to objective in Gardner's thing. In the Bible here we go from ox to lion to eagle to man. In Jim we go law, lyric, evaluation, fact. In liturgy you go called in, cleansed, and then you probably put consecration and communion together. You're going
Right.
for, then you're sent out. You see, so there are all kinds of connections
Right,
that can
okay.
be made.
Okay.
And in the first week, by the way, we speak in the order of speaking is 8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1.
Okay.
So Doug would speak for Elder
So
Royer would speak.
Sarah,
for
would you get me,
But this is just an example. I mean, you'll have a package here.
get me the whiteboard again?
It's not as complicated as you think. We
Whiteboard's
have the
right here.
word.
She wants-
After we'd gone through like 8 hours of stuff with Elder Rorta, he ended up saying, "Well, this is simple."
I'm just gonna set this up here and it'll be, it'll stay there until it gets knocked
Yeah.
off.
But remember, we were talking about retuning the universe. We're in a universe of conversation because you answer 415263789.
Okay, so then for the first day,
Yeah.
we speak in this order.
Yeah.
And we speak by doing these imperatives. So as day 8, I speak to these other people,
Yeah.
and I say these.
And usually what we would do, ideally what would happen is maybe you're not able to do all this at one time, but you'd be prepared for it. And you would have sent these to people on the internet or something ahead of time. And then when a person is confronted with the whole universe of imperatives, which is what we are confronted with all the time, then you have to respond. And you can respond and you can pick some things out that are much more important to you than other things, you see.
Right.
And you respond, and then out of that you build your solo. You see, the total combination. So, for instance, say you were day 8, let me just run some quick ones by.
Okay.
You'd ask, you'd tell Joseph, get out of the wilderness.
All right. Let's take a break here. We have a technical thing going on. Let's go ahead and get this question answered. And we can just cut this out.
Okay.
So, what we want is we want the cards emptied. So we want the stuff taken off the cards, put onto the computer, and emptied. And we want them moved from the cards to the computer.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Back to
Hi,
tape.
Sarah. You're doing very well.
We're still rolling, right? Okay.
This is just a real brief example.
Okay.
You'd say, in some imperative way, or vocative. Vocative in Latin is, we studied Latin, have we?
Some of us.
Vocative is the way that you speak to another person by naming. Et tu brute.
Okay.
You see, that brute is a vocative ending, if I understand it correctly. So you're speaking to something. You should always speak to God in the vocative. God is always here. Oh God, you should say. That's our equivalent. Oh God, have mercy on us.
Okay.
And I'll say
So you're giving me an example of what I would.
Say you'd say something to Joseph vocatively. You see, when you name something in the Bible, you're determining its character.
Right.
Adam named the animals, determining the character of the animals. It wasn't a descriptive thing. Okay, and so you would do something that would move Joseph from law to lyric, from imperative to subjective, that would help Joseph out, you see. And you say, Joseph, remember,